Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a message that one of our listeners sent to us. The message reads like this. Hello, how are you? Can you please post my own story? I have my own story that I want to share with you. There is nothing that is as painful as knowing that your father hates you and he constantly tells you that you came to this world by mistake and that is why he dedicated you to the devil. If your father is just a regular man that does not influence other people, that other families do not trust, you can just say, okay, it happens in life, then you move on with your life. But when your father has thousands or even millions of followers from around the world that blindly followed him, it is much more painful. Each and every time when I see people worshiping my father, my late father, online, I feel so much bad for myself and I feel so sorry for my mother for the pain that she endured from the moment that she found out that she was pregnant and the time that she gave birth to me. After so many times when she had tried to have an abortion, in which I used to be so angry about it because that was what my father used against my mother when he wanted to use me for his rituals. He turned me against my own mother when he told me that if it was not for him, I was not going to be here on earth. For my mother, the time that she found out that she was pregnant for me, she wanted to have an abortion. She tried, but it was my father who stopped her from doing that. Yet it was because of the emotional abuse, the threats and everything that was forcing my mother to have an abortion. I have stayed for a very long time. Yes, I still hide from the shadows, but it is very difficult. The threats that I still receive from the kids, from the other kids, who are my siblings, it is quite painful. I really wish that one day, if I get the chance before I die, I want the world to know the truth about my father, a man whom a lot of people believed that was a prophet of God. A lot of people would travel to our country, Nigeria, thinking that they have come to see a healer, a savior to thousands of people. But I know that he was not a man of God. According to the things that he did to me, he was something, a monster, a beast that was sent by the devil himself, a man that got corrupted. He started well, but when he had so much money, the power and the greed that he started to have, it was just too demonic. My father was one of our Nigerian most famous prophets. People would flock to him for miracles, healings, and blessings. He had and he still has a massive church, even though he has passed away. He was living a very luxurious life, and people were even scared of him, thinking that maybe he was God himself. But everything he built was a lie that was built on pain and human sacrifices. And I want to tell you today that I was one of those human sacrifices, and he wanted to initiate me. My story, it can start with my mother. She was a young woman who was struggling to survive when she met my father. Before she met him, she was working as a prostitute in Lagos, trying to make enough money to feed herself. My father found my mom. She was at her lowest point and offered her salvation. He promised my mom a life filled with luxury and comfort. All that she needed from my mom was a woman who was going to be personally his, since my mom was very beautiful. My mother did not even realize that she was not the only one whom he used to save in brackets. She was just one amongst the many women that he took in, manipulated, and used for his own purposes, because he had a hunger and thirst for as to sleep with many women as he could. He did not marry her. No, he did not have any intentions at all, because he already had a wife and kids. All that she used to get from my father was money. He told my mom that my mother was special and God had big plans for her. My mother was proud, and then that was when she fell pregnant for me. And when my father found out that she was pregnant, my mother told me that this was when the abuse started, the emotional abuse, being told that she was worth nothing. All her beauty had faded away because she had slept with so many men. And my mother was supposed to be grateful that she had slept with the men of God, until my mom then thought of having an abortion. I grew older, and my mom used to tell me that, this man that you see on the newspaper is your father. I never even believed it. But with time, that was when I saw that there was a man that used to come in the middle of the night, having his face covered at all the times. And this man, in secret, he was a practicing Muslim, but people did not know about it, did they? So at that time, the man would come and sleep at our house and leave us with a lot of money. He only came in the middle of the night, will never sleep until the morning, maybe for 2 hours, and he would be gone. And as for my mom, she was sad each and every time that he would come. Then they started fighting, and this man turned out to be this famous prophet. He took me in, and I was so excited with the promises that I was going to meet up with my siblings and my other stepmom, the wife. I was 14 by then. That was when I was taken. I thought that he was taking me to meet up with my other siblings, but no, I was taken to a different mansion. I was staying there, and he started to poison my mind with everything he said that had happened between him and my mother. I started hating my mother, did not want to speak with her or anything. She would cry a lot, asking me where I was, and I would tell her that I was dead, and to me, she was also dead. So my mom used to cry a lot, and I was not even feeling sorry until the day when my father sacrificed me. My father took me to this other forest, and there was a hill in that forest where I saw that he regularly goes with a lot of pictures of the people that do come from overseas. They were there placed in different bottles, and these people, he used to call them using their pictures that they would have been taken when they would come to have a one-on-one on him. I don't know how those pictures were taken, but I saw a lot of them. Some of these pictures, they were hanging in the trees. Some of them, they were placed inside clay pots. Some of them, they were inside bottles. I guess those that were inside the bottles, they were of those that were considered to be wealthy and special. So, Brother Nashi, when I found out that this was what was happening, I tried to run away, but he grabbed me and he made me to sleep on top of this other rock, and he said, just like Abraham had done, he was about to do the same. He just pretended as if he was slaughtering me, but on top of that rock on which I was sleeping on, I saw blood, and it meant that there were some sacrifices, blood sacrifices that used to happen. That was when my eyes were opened up that my father was not a prophet, he was a predator. After he slept with me, he slept with his own blood and told me to shut up and never to tell anyone about it. He had this fantasy of having as many women as he could, sleeping with them that were virgins. And that's when I know, if I can mention his name, a lot of women from the church, they can confess to this, that if you go to his church and you were a virgin, he would try by all means to remove your virginity, to take it away from you before you can ever get married. That was the experience that I received at the hands of my father. For me to survive, I said, let me stay quiet. We returned back to that mansion. When I got the chance, I was taken by one of his drivers into town for a little bit of shopping, and I escaped and I ran back home. He threatened my mother, he threatened me, and we moved into the villages until he passed away. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. If you have any confession that you would want to share with us, please do not hesitate. you can come to my inbox and you share with me your own side of the story. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. So there was one sister who once sent a message. So I read her confession. So this is an update that she sent to me. She said, "Hello, Brother Nashi. I just wanted to share an update after my last confession. I'm the girl who shared my story about being raped by a Satanist at the age of 13 and being a slave to death. After I shared my story, a person reached out to me. He says that he lives in New York, but I won't share his name or details. I must admit that I still owe debt and I have no idea how I am going to pay it back. I am even behind on rent. I really don't wish to quit my job, but it looks like that will be my option." So the man from New York helped me with some money to pay off one of the loan sharks that I owe. After that, I begged him to assist with the initial amount he had mentioned and agreed to help with me, but I guess he changed his mind and stopped replying to me. If he is listening to this, I just want to appreciate him and thank him for his help. He will know who I am. I understand that it's not easy helping a stranger, but he did that for me. Even though I was not able to pay everyone I owe, at least I managed to close down one person from my list by his help. Thank you so much to this person, and may God keep him and bless him. Thank you for your channel, Brother Nash. It really became useful to me at a time of need. So that was an update from one of our listeners. She once sent a confession. She was saying in her last confession that I am a 31-year-old female and I am born and raised in South Africa. I have so much to say, but I don't even know where to start. There was a time in my life when I was sent to the shop to go buy potatoes on a Sunday. I was 13 at that time. When I went out to go and buy, my neighbor called out and told me to come inside. He wanted to send me to the shops, but I figured it out that it's not a big deal because some elders used to send me to the shops anyways. When I got in, he asked me to sit on the bed and turn the music up. He then pushed me down and muffled my mouth, and he surprisingly tore my jean. It was one of those old jeans named Nikabokwe, so it had soft material. He then raped me. I told him it's painful, he should stop. He then asked, where exactly is it painful? He then stopped, looked down on my private part and kissed it and asked me to get dressed. I had to hold my zip in together because it was broken. He led me to the door and kissed my forehead, saying, "Thank you, this is my heaven." So if you still remember that confession that she once sent to us, please let us talk with her in the comment section. If you want to assist her, please do come to my inbox so that I can share her contacts with you.